So my name's Judah Graham. I'm a Senior Development Director at Sledgehammer Games for Multiplayer.
So I got to play a little bit of Hardpoint. Thank you very much for bringing that back. I've been playing Deathmatch to the point where I'm kind of done with Deathmatch, but I love Hardpoint. So I just want to say, first off, thank you very much for bringing that back.
Fantastic.
So one of the things that I noticed that's different about this Call of Duty, and it's kind of the most obvious, is the exosuit.
Mm-hmm.
But how early did that come into development? How early did you know you wanted to add that kind of power armor type of thing to the game?
But Exo's been core from the beginning. I mean, if you go back, one of the best things about having a 3-year dev cycle now is being able to kind of take a step back and really focus in on what's fun. And Exo, we started early prototypes 3 years ago. We started realizing that, hey, this is really fun. This is a lot of fun. What can we do with this? And that's how the gameplay really evolved from that. But it was core pretty much from the onset.
So the Exo really, from what I've noticed, it really informs on map builds and map design.
Mm-hmm.
Once you can move around not only quickly but also vertically, that had to change things drastically for your map design, both multiplayer and single player, I would imagine. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I could talk more to multiplayer.
Sure.
But we're huge fans of the franchise and have been for a long time. The 3-lane map design has always been something that's really, really core to the franchise and good for playability. And so again, you add in that layer of exo mechanics. Now you add verticality to those maps, and now you've got that challenge. But we went with our map design and adding in those mechanics and being able to have the time through a 3-year dev cycle to kind of figure out that secret blend between the small to mid-sized map and how fast the player would move and how the mechanics, making sure that all the metrics for the maps would be, work with that style of gameplay or with the boost and the player mechanics as a whole. I believe, and you can probably comment on it. It's a lot of fun. I think we've balanced it really, really good with design.
So I'll pay a huge compliment. It felt like Tribes. I'm a huge Tribes fan, and I really liked being able to kind of dash and being able to vertically move vertically in the air. And there's a couple other moves. Can you tell us about some of the other dash moves?
So if you think about it, and the way we've talked about it internally when we talk about, talk to the designers and the guys trying to make the motions stay true to Call of Duty, what you've been used to, but add an exosuit on the guy. Now, what does that do? So it's jump. It's a decent jump into the air. So you got boost jump. You've got dodge, which is left to right, like a strafe, which you saw in the trailer, nice strafe. When you're in the air, you can dash forward or boost forward. You can slide, so there's like an exo slide across the crown, and then you can string some of those motions together, so you can use the momentum from one motion carry you through, and it adds a layer of skill in that hasn't been in Call of Duty in the past. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to release the trailer that we saw today, but kudos to whoever did that loop-de-loop around the staircase. That was way cool.
That's cool. We I don't know if I can talk about it, but it's one of our artists back at the studio. He used to do that move, and we kind of coined that term. We call that move the Mabbit.
Nice.
Mabbits are really good artists that worked on it.
You guys have kind of a daunting task. I mean, Call of Duty is huge. I was talking to somebody today that was pointing out that on Xbox, not only is the previous Call of Duty, but the previous 2 Call of Duties prior to that are pretty much tops on Xbox Live. So obviously you guys have a huge install base. This is a drastic departure from what most people are used to. How do you guys tackle a task of kind of adjusting the sights of 100 million players?
Well, maybe can you Can you be more specific about the question? So I'm not
obviously,
sure.
you're changing kind of the fundamentals and the way characters move,
Right.
And no longer can you kind of be myopic and looking straight forward and just up a little bit. I mean, you've got all this verticality.
Right.
How much testing have you done with like esports guys? How much did you pull in kind of player fan base
tons of testing, lots of testing, both internally and focus testing. Internal play tests. We run 3 play tests a day. We have lines out the door. A lot of the studio guys, single player, multiplayer, they all come in and play it. So I think you fundamentally go back to the 3-year dev cycle. Allow for that. It gives you that a little more length and time to evolve. If you add 1 more year, it can be so impactful for development. And I think the proof is in the pudding. Like when you get in there and you play it, you really understand that we've been able to find that sweet spot in the design, and I think players will really respond well to it. I mean, we kept that in mind. Like the core player experience has been a huge part of our focus.
So XP customization and kind of create a class has been kind of the roots of Call of Duty for a little while. And you guys are changing that a little bit. Can you talk a little about that new
Yes.
system?
So specifically the customization we've added, we're all fans obviously of Pick 10. We thought, Greg, myself, a lot of the players, we like the Pick 10, but we've added, if we go back to the core pillars that we started with, customization was one of the fundamental components that we wanted to bring to multiplayer. So by adding in the score streaks into multiplayer and either making them your option to take in, or if your play style is you don't want to use score streaks and you want to spend those points on perks or something else, customizing your weapon, then you can do that.
You can also customize the score streaks, right?
You can customize the score streaks too. So you have a base module, which would be a base cost, and then you can add to that with different modules. So in the case like you saw tonight, you have a turret. It's a regular turret, but if you want to add the rippable component to it, or you want to add rockets, you can customize and add those in.
So yeah, with Ripper and with rockets, you could literally make a turret that you could place in the world, then run over and pull it off of the base and
run around,
and chase people around with it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and that, I think, to your point or to your question, that layer of customization, I think the fans are really going to have a good time with. I think that's an added real nice benefit, and it complements what we've done with the rest of the gameplay design.
So on the weapon side of things, you now have, for lack of a better term, uniques that you can get as perk rewards, right?
Are you talking about the player reward system?
Yeah, like the player reward system.
The custom weapons?
The custom weapons, yeah, they're kind of uniques, right?
Right.
So can you speak to those a little bit?
Yeah, so supply drops is a way to add more player engagement and give it's reward system for the player. Adding in nearly 350 additional weapons, all kind of custom to individual stats on the weapons and what you can do with them. So by adding those in and giving the player something to, for instance, if you're a baseline player and you're playing the game and all of a sudden you get a supply drop and now you've got a new custom weapon that's in there, and it's, maybe you're slow with ADS and now all of a sudden you've got a weapon that's faster at ADS, maybe it has less damage, but it fits your play style. I think that's an added bonus for the player, and I think it'll add a good variety to different play styles.
So how many maps are we looking at when the game ships?
I can't comment specifically on the number of maps, but I can say it's very much in line with what's been done in the past.
Anything else you'd like to add for our readers?
The readers, I think they really need to get there. I think they'll be really excited about the player mechanics and what we've done with the addition of the EXO abilities, or EXO player mechanics and movement style for the game.